Hello everybody, Jenny here, and we are covering Welcome to Plathville this season, which I don't even know what season it is. I want to say we've had maybe 4 or 5 of them, something like that. I don't know. I'm on top of it today here, folks. Okay, let's review. For those of you who haven't seen any of it, let me go over who everybody is so you know who I'm talking about when I mention their name. It is a large family, so I apologize for that. There is one sibling that is not in the picture or on the show at all. It is the absolute oldest girl in the family who is married and moved on and had no desire to be part of the show. The overall premise to the show is this is sort of like a documentary, Sister Wivesy kind of, we're going to follow this family type show on TLC. Seems like molded in the framework of 19 Kids and Counting, but they don't have 19 kids, but they do have a big family, and they are from a very conservative Christian faith. I'm not exactly sure if it's the same as what the Duggars followed or not, but I know there's a lot of rules. I know it's very traditional in terms of the role of the men and the women. I do believe that it also has the philosophy of we will have as many children as God will allow us to have. And they very much hang out with other families that are very large and are part of this church as well. I don't know if the church actually has a building or if it's one of these we meet in different people's homes kind of church. Unsure. Okay, so the parents are Barry and Kim. Let me bring the picture up for you. On the left side, the very tall man you can see there is Barry, and to his right is Kim, his wife. Starting from the far left, I'm doing a little bit of guessing here. I believe the one in the blue dress on the far left is Amber. Next to her is Cassia, and the youngest is Mercy. Those are the 3 youngest kids. Now, those kids aren't on the show very much, really at all. They're not featured. They'll be in group settings together at times, but never is like one individually highlighted. It's really about the older kids. All right, let's go back and review more of who is covered. So next to Kim, the mom, we have Lydia. Next to Lydia is Ethan. Okay, Lydia, very spiritual. Very religious. She has her own prayer room in the house. She writes up quotes and scripture verses. She has set prayer time every day. She seems the most spiritually in tuned. She's also the sweetest. She's not judgmental or anything like that in any way. She just really has a heart full of love. So she is likable. Let me just point that out, because usually when you say the most spiritual one, you think that they're a little crazy or judgmental, and there's a lot of assumptions that go along with these extremely conservative Christian groups, but that's not Lydia at all. Okay. And then next to Lydia was Ethan. Ethan wasn't on the early seasons very much because he was kind of growing up, but by last season he was featured a little bit because he was starting to get a job and look into getting his pilot's license. He would love to fly for a living. And he has been saving his money from other jobs that he does, odd jobs, and he might be on this season a little bit more. Don't know, but he got highlighted and featured last season specifically because of the boss at the place that he repaired airplanes with. He actually went in with him and bought a plane too, so that storyline we'll get into in a little bit after I review who everybody else is. Okay, so to the right of the word drama, we have Micah. Micah's been featured a little bit more on the show. Micah, I think we're going from youngest to oldest here. It seems like that's how they're lined up. Micah, very good looking, works out all the time, really enjoys fixing things, riding horses, tinkering on things, just like a hands-on kind of guy. Throughout the seasons, we saw him sort of break away from the family a little bit and then get into modeling. And then he went out to California and lived in LA for a while as a model. He has the whole makeup of a model, but it took him a while to get into any kind of speaking stuff because they all have kind of an odd, no, I shouldn't say they all. The boys have an odd speech pattern. And it might be like Barry's. I don't notice the dad having it as much, but he must because that's how the boys all speak. But I have noticed, well, Micah went through vocal training when he got into modeling to help kind of get rid of that. I have noticed the older boys' odd accent going away over the seasons. And the last boy, Isaac, who we were just talking about, well, he didn't talk a lot at the beginning. He just wasn't featured much, so I honestly can't remember. All right, that's neither here nor there. I don't know why I brought that up. All right, so Micah is out in LA, and actually at the end of last season, he was starting to debate, should I move back home? And home is Cairo, Georgia. It's not Plathville. The last name of the family is Plath. They're the Plath family. So they named the show Welcome to Plathville. Easy to assume that they are from Plathville. They are not. This show is about living with the Plath family, i.e. Plathville. Okay, let's cover the rest of the family members. Next to Micah, we have Mariah. Mariah was the black sheep, if you will, of the family. She was always kind of a rebel. She was they were all good kids through and through, really. They're all great kids. They were obedient. They enjoyed each other's company. They didn't really fight much. They were good citizens. You know, they were fine. They were good kids. They were raised well. Extremely sheltered, but good inside. Okay, so their experiences in the world are very limited, but the content of their character is pretty good. And that extends to Mariah too. But Mariah is always the one that would push the boundaries. She would wear the shirt that was up and showed her midriff. She would wear the shorts that were a little too short. She would not get her homework done when she needed to get her homework done. So she was that kind of rebel in the family. And that was through the previous seasons too. You saw that she eventually kind of broke away from the family. She's all tatted up now. She tried to make it in the music industry, or maybe she still is trying to make it in the music industry. We didn't see her start to drink because she's quite young. I don't even know if she was 21 by the end of last season. I want to say she was like 17, or maybe she was 18. Could have been 18 when she broke away from the family. And I'll talk about that in a second too. So the arc of Mariah is big rebel, broke away, on my own, don't want anything to do with mom and dad. And by the end of last season, we see her coming back, realizing life out there isn't all that it's cracked up to be. Missing family, missing her siblings, missing her parents even. Coming back and asking her father to baptize her because she feels like there's just a hole inside of her heart. She doesn't know what it is. She thinks that maybe it's the pushing God away. And so she wanted to proclaim her faith and try to get a relationship with God and fill that up. So that's how last season ended with Mariah. Okay, the next person, that's Ethan. Actually, we'll do the last two because that's Ethan and his wife, Olivia. So she's the only non-kid in this picture, which I guess makes sense since his hand is kind of on her bum and she's so close to him. That would be odd if that were a sibling. Okay, so we have Ethan and Olivia. Olivia fills the role kind of a villain on the show. She's kind of hard to like. She thinks a lot of herself. She was raised in the same kind of family. Her and Ethan decided to get married. They knew each other through their church community or whatever. So, okay. They got married before the show began, I believe. Gosh, I can't even remember season 1. I think season 1 showed reflections of them getting married. So they were living on their own. There was a lot of him talking really odd and quirky in his weird voice that he had that is much better now. There was her who had been estranged from her family for a long time. So I don't know what the wedding looked like or anything, but she has kind of been a rebel for a while and still is. Not rebel in terms of really doing bad things, but breaking all the rules that were set in the house. Drinking, smoking, I don't know what else is all involved in it. Talking back, and trying to encourage her siblings to do the same thing. That didn't go over well. Well, after she married Ethan, she tried to do the same thing with Ethan and Mariah and Micah, trying to get them to turn against Barry and Kim, the parents. So that's kind of what we've been seeing through the season. At the beginning, I was kind of pro Barry Kim, anti Olivia, because family is family. I don't care how conservative they are. They weren't bad people by any stretch of the imagination. They were trying to raise just like good kids. So for her to say, no, you need to drink, you need to try pot, you need to, hard to like her. And kind of an aggressive type personality as well. Well, Ethan, of course, is her husband, so he's following along with all of it, and he's enjoying every second of this new life. She had him going, he went to a strip bar, he went, like everything you normally wouldn't do. Okay? We need to break away. You need to get out from under your parents' thumb. She really convinced Ethan. Ethan was so in love with Olivia. Hook, line, and sinker, whatever she said he'd do. Then Mariah is living with them. Same thing. You see Olivia and Mariah become besties. This goes on for a while, years. Olivia apparently was familiar with the sites that you could upload music to. I don't know if it's just iTunes. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I wasn't really following it. But she was helping Mariah start Mariah's music career because Mariah didn't even know where to begin. And Olivia, she's a singer too. She also plays piano quite well. So she may have already had things uploaded. Like she may have known the whole system. She may have tried to get a record deal or something herself to begin with. Not sure. But she kind of functioned sort of as a manager / friend to Mariah as Mariah was getting going. And then eventually Micah moves in with them too. He's like, yeah, I'm out of this conservative home. Y'all are having too much fun. I'm joining you and I'm going to try to model. They were then at that point, I think were they already in Tampa? I don't remember. At one point they moved to Tampa, but that may have been just Olivia and Ethan to get even further away from the family, just over the state. So Micah joins them. He starts doing modeling in Florida, Tampa area, and gets sent on a few little things. That's when he eventually took off and went to LA and said, well, if I'm going to make it, I might as well go where I be able to get a lot more work. I don't know how much work he got there, but boy, he had a nice apartment. So he had to have been doing a decent amount of work. Or maybe, just maybe, Barry and Kim Plath are the only parents who are actually giving TLC money to their kids. Something the Brown family never did in Sister Wives, something that the Duggar family never did in 19 Kids and Counting. Because TLC pays families in lump sums. This is for the family. When they have these big family shows, they don't have a contract with every single person. So that could be how he was affording it. If not, he was booking enough stuff to live in a fairly nice apartment. Now, the apartment may have been downtown LA. That's not as great of an area. And I know there's a lot of old factories and warehouses and that they're converting into cool apartments and lofts and things. So they do have some really nice interior stuff, but you just don't want to walk outside. Okay, so you're caught up. Now, the episode that just aired this past Monday actually said season 5, episode 8. So there were only 7 episodes last season? Because this was just a recap of what's happened all the way up to the very end of last season. It said season 5, episode 8. There were only 7 episodes. That's not a very long season. And this is how it begins. It starts off saying 16 months earlier, we have Ethan and Olivia, the two that are married, out in Europe. They decided they needed to get away. Olivia was having more and more and more problems with Barry and Kim, the parents of all the other kids. And she just felt like they needed to distance themselves. More than anything, she felt like Ethan needed to distance himself from his parents because she does not like their influence on him. The sad part about this show is ever since they got married, Ethan definitely was in adult-ish figure that all the little girls looked up to. And he played with them a lot. He's kind of immature, quite frankly. He and Olivia both are very immature, actually. But the upside of that is that he was the very playful big brother who would always interact and hang out with them and have a good time. I honestly can't remember what happened that caused the dissension between them. But for some reason, it was something to do with Olivia and them. I think Olivia and Ethan told Barry and Kim that they needed to apologize to them. I think that's what it is, because Olivia is really big on people need to apologize to me. She's very much a victim. She is, oh my goodness, if you watch Sister Wives, she is Robin Brown to a T. Always a victim in every situation. He got along with his parents fine before he got married. Ethan did, but okay. So I'm pretty sure I remember that Ethan standing in the driveway talking to his parents and saying, are you going to apologize to my wife or not? And they said no. And so he's like, all right, then I'm not going to come by again until you do. And so he said goodbye to all of his siblings. And he didn't see him for a couple of years. I mean, yeah, not good. Well, not surprising. They're in Europe and Olivia posted something about Kim, the mom, saying that she had a credit card that was in Ethan's name, but she had it and she was putting things on it, expenditures on it, but not giving Ethan any of the money to pay for it. The story doesn't jive. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever because, I mean, they would have shut it down if nobody was paying it. So either she was paying it or he was paying it. And according to Olivia, he didn't pay it because he didn't have access to the account. Well, all you have to do is call the credit card company. Give them your social security number, personal information, say this is my card. My mother's been using it. It's not hers. And then that's the end of it. And he never did that. So that makes me think that maybe this didn't happen. Or he could at least call and say, I need access to my account. What is the username and password? I believe I've been infringed upon or whatever. Give me another card and I'll set it up again. Or at least just help me reset up my username and password. There's ways around it. I don't know if Olivia and Ethan are just dumb and didn't know that they could do that. Or if this whole thing is just a lie. Because there does seem to be a fair amount of lies in the show. Again, another Robin Brown and Brown family thing that they have in common. At least when Olivia is involved, actually. I don't know how many lies there are outside of Olivia. She's the villain of the show. It's one of those villains with a smile on the face. What was the name in Harry Potter? The one teacher. Oh, write it down below if you know. Oh, I can't think of her name. She was kind of short, sort of fluffy, pretty face, always smiling. But she was really evil. Okay, can't think of it. Anyway, she reminds me of her. Pretty girl, smiles a lot, but daggers come shooting out when she talks. So because Olivia posted on social media while she was in Europe about this credit card that apparently she had for years, this didn't just start. So I don't know. There's so many unanswered questions in this. But for whatever reason, when she was in Europe, she posted about it. The kids got together and collectively, minus Ethan, who is in Europe with her, they got together and made a post that said, we're not in support of this. We don't believe this. We don't like how she's disparaging our mother, which was kind of huge because neither Mariah nor Micah were really close with the parents. They took Olivia and Ethan's side and kind of broke away from them. So by them doing that, that pretty much said, yeah, okay, we're starting to see the forest for the trees now, and this is incorrect and inaccurate. Now Ethan and Olivia decided they're coming back to the United States, and they're going to spend the next 3 years living in 3 different states, because this is very Olivia. Olivia is like, don't live by family, don't live by anyone you know, go see the world. But Ethan never did, so he and Olivia were never on the same page. These two should have never gotten married. I don't understand why they did, other than, again, ignorance and innocence, I suppose. Okay, so here's their plan. 3 different states for the next 3 years. They decide they're going to start off in Minnesota. Now, Cairo, where they live, by the way, is Georgia, if I didn't mention that at the beginning. Georgia. So they're going to Minnesota because Ethan's grandparents live there. So there's family nearby too, and they get their own apartment, and they're going to live there for a year. It seemed lovely at first. Olivia had all kinds of positive things to say about it, including the snow and everything and how refreshing it was and how great it was. And then halfway through the season, it was like, it's dark, it's cold, there's snow, I gotta get out of here. And Ethan was like, well, I was thinking we could extend it a little bit longer. And she's like, I want to get out of here. Well, by the end of the season, she's like, I need to get out of this relationship. We're going to talk about Mariah now for a little bit. Mariah is the one that is trying to get into music. Okay. In their reflection of Mariah, they have her in her own studio apartment. She is in bartending school. Oh, she's a bartending school graduate, actually, which means she must be 21 because I don't think you can do that before you're 21, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. Maybe every state has different laws. I'm assuming she's about 21 now. She's still working on her music. She's still getting more tattoos. Something about her I always liked. I don't know. I was never that kind of rebel. I mean, maybe a little bit in college, but still within the confines of following the rules, like drinking, underage, breaking some of those rules. But Mariah takes it a little bit further, and I don't know. I don't know why I like her. She's just likable. Something about her is very cute and refreshing and energetic, and she's just likable. So Mariah, like the week before Ethan and Olivia are coming home, writes a letter to them, leaves it in the house that they're renting, and says, I'm out of here. I don't like what happened. I don't support it. I'm getting my own place. So she goes and gets her own apartment. She has this cute little loft apartment that she has, and she got a dog along with it. A big dog, but I guess it's a good protection for her. So Ethan was shocked when he got home. He got home before Olivia did. I think she went off to another country and was visiting friends there. And then he came home to take care of the house, etc., etc. So he's very upset. Now they're getting into an issue of payment. She had 1 month left. I think it was all a verbal agreement. So I don't think he has a leg to stand on. And I think it wasn't even a full month because actually when they started, it wasn't a calendar month. It was like in the middle of the month. So she paid for the rest of that month and then just said, I'm out of here. Of course, he wanted his money. So now they're not getting along. And that continues throughout last season. Olivia and Ethan are now not only not getting along with Barry and Kim, but none of the rest of the kids. Which means because Olivia's putting her foot down about it, Ethan is following suit. Hey, don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button and the bell. 3 things to do. I appreciate you. He's just like a little puppy dog to her. She does not want him involved with his family at all, unless they're going to be people who will cut off Barry and Kim. She does not like his parents. Now, interestingly, in last season, Kim, the mom, decides she's had enough of Barry after all these years, so she's leaving him. She wants a divorce. This does not follow the protocol that we're used to on these kind of shows. And she just is finding herself in too many ways with very short skirts. Very short skirts. She does not have the body to carry it. I'm sorry, she doesn't. And I'm not trying to shame her size at all. I don't have the body to carry a short skirt. When you're really big in the waist area, it doesn't look good with a short skirt. Doesn't look good. Tight shirt, tight t-shirts. And she thinks she's all that. Lipstick that's always dripping and smearing and going through the cracks. I mean, it's just not good. It's not good. It's not a good look. And what's interesting is she wasn't raised in this kind of, it's not like she's, this is the first time in my life I can rebel. She was a pretty rebellious, from what I understand, teenager. She was raised on a boat. She had a pretty vagabond kind of life, do whatever you want. It wasn't until she and Barry met that she got into a strict conservative Christian faith that was very restrictive. So why she's acting like this, I don't really understand. It's not a good look for her, though, unfortunately. And I don't agree with the whole premise of it either. Like, she's still got young kids. at home. It's very hurtful to them, you can tell. You can see it's very hurtful based on all the tears with the older kids. They weren't agreeing with it. Kim is now drinking too. She's like... And she found a boyfriend right away. Who's the boyfriend? His name is Ken. He is the owner of the airplane repair shop that Isaac, the younger boy, worked for. And he's the one that split the expense to purchase a plane together with Ken. I think Kim knew Ken first. I think Kim started to fall for Ken and then realized, I don't think I like Barry anymore. He's too buttoned up. Ken kind of has a personality of a wet rag. It is hard to watch him on TV. Barry used to be hard to watch on TV until Ken came along. But he's just different, I guess, for whatever reason. Who knows why people fall in love? I don't know. But I think she fell for him, then left Barry. And then shortly after, well, they're still not divorced as of the end of last year, but shortly after the separation, she started dating Ken. All right, so we're pretty much caught up on all of that. Now, Mariah, before Ethan and Olivia came back from Europe, sent a formal letter, it seemed like it was maybe written by a lawyer, to Olivia, because apparently Mariah was blocked on her phone, so she couldn't. So somehow they knew where they lived. I don't know, maybe because TLC was following them a little bit. I don't know. But they were able to get in touch with them, or at least knew the hotel they were staying at. She sends a letter to Olivia stating, give me my music back. I don't have access to any of my files. I don't have access to any of the money that I've made. So you've basically stolen everything. You're not responding to my texts. This is a letter to indicate legal action will be taken if you don't give it back to me. Apparently, after this, Olivia went ahead and said, here's all the passwords. Go ahead. It's yours. I never meant to steal it. The truth lies somewhere in the middle, I'm sure. I do believe Mariah never had access to it. I believe that Mariah never cared to have access to it because she just didn't want to learn the whole system because Olivia was taking care of it. I don't know if Mariah asked for it and then got shut off by social media and was blocked, or how that all went down. But it was a big brouhaha. And it led to the fact that Ethan is now telling Mariah, you can't have a relationship with me until you apologize to my wife for the letter that you sent. So now there always has to be these apologies. Nobody else in the family really does that. So it sounds very Olivia, because Olivia is always saying, I need to stand in my truth. I need to be firm in who I am. If I'm not apologized to, then you're not worth my time. She's very entitled. The world's against her. And you know what? She creates it. Just like Robin Brown and Sister Wives. They create the world they're in, full of chaos and angst that then makes people not really like them that much. So now at the end of last season, we see Mariah going out to LA because she had a couple meetings with music things out there, and she's staying with Micah. Micah got an Airbnb in Malibu. Isaac joined out there. Barry, the dad, joined him out there. And eventually Ethan joined them out there too. Now, Olivia did not want Ethan to go out there because she doesn't want him around his family. And he was going back and forth. Was he going to go? Is he not going to go? Is he going to go? Is he not going to go? He didn't know. He eventually went. And then Olivia decided, fine, I'm going to go back to Europe with friends. That's what she does. Oh, she needs to learn how to fill the hole in her soul. Like for her, it's like, if I just keep traveling to different places, I'm somebody. No. All the traveling I've done in my life equals nothing about who I am as a person. I would have been fine if I would have just stayed in my own little state and never left it. I think she thinks she's grown up because nobody really traveled in her family when she was growing up. So she'll get it out of her system eventually. I mean, traveling's great. Don't get me wrong. I've been to lots of countries. I've been to almost all 50 states. I've been to about 47 of the 50 states. Like, I enjoy traveling, but it doesn't define me or make me a better person, or I feel good about myself or anything like that. It's just a fun thing to do. So is playing mahjong online, which I'm kind of addicted to because I'm channeling my inner 80-year-old Chinese self. Okay, so he goes. He eventually makes well enough amends with Mariah while he's there. Everyone else is getting along. They're having a great time. They're surfing, they're rock climbing, and it was nice to see all the boys together and Mariah out there having a good time. Olivia comes back from her trip, has decided, yeah, I don't see kids in our future because we don't agree on politics and religion. Kind of the two main bedrocks of what people need to agree on before they have kids. You'd think, well, why didn't you talk about this before you got married too? But they were more in line when they first got married. Olivia has really broken away to the point that she now rejects her political upbringing, which I'm guessing is conservative, as well as God. She's throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I'm a free spirit now. I'm a free thinker. Okay, I don't like Olivia, as you can tell. But I can't blame this divorce all on her because Ethan's a part of it too. And he married her knowing that she had this like Spitfire rebel part of her. I think he kind of enjoyed that on one level, but I don't think he realized it was going to go as far as it has. So they decide, I think, full-on divorce. I know they definitely were separating, but I don't know. The season ended, I think, with them deciding they're going to get a divorce. Oh, I had written here specifically what Ethan said. Ethan said that they're looking for a divorce now because they both want to have kids, but neither of them can bring kids into the world if they can't agree on core things. And he said that he wants to raise his children to have a love of country and God, and Olivia does not. It was kind of mean, wasn't it? I mean, it's saying the same thing I said before, but when you put it in those words, it's sort of like, oh. Okay, so that's where we're going to pick up on the next episode, I guess. That was just a recap of what we've seen so far. Now, we did have this season on Welcome to Plathville, and Olivia's on it, but she kind of has to be. I mean, I don't think there's a show without her, because Mariah has kind of come back and realized, I kind of like my family more than this rebel side. Micah in LA ended with, I think I might want to move back to Cairo, Georgia. This is fine and all that, but I really do miss my family and friends. So that's how that ended. So they're the only kind of rebels. So I think they have to have Olivia on the show. She's just so unlikable. But the sad part about it is, apparently she went to a psychic in this upcoming season, of course, because that would fit with her just trying to do everything against what she was raised to do or believe. And the psychic said, the person, your I don't remember what she said. I don't know if she said spouse or the person that your soulmate that you were together with, you're going to be together with again. I'm like, what? She was like, huh? I can see Ethan agreeing to that, kind of, because he's so in love with her, but yet he's so conflicted about his core values and beliefs against this pretty girl that he was married to or is married to. I don't know where the divorce is. I mean, for years, he just followed her like a lapdog and did whatever she said. If she didn't want him around his parents, he wasn't around his parents. If she didn't want him talking to his siblings, he wasn't talking to his siblings. Like, he's pretty whipped, capital W. So I can see him going back. I don't think it's for the best. I think they both have somebody else out there that's better for them, but we'll see. Anyway, the show hinted at the fact that they may be getting back together. I don't remember what the scene was, quite frankly, right at this moment, but I just thought, huh? It wasn't just the psychic saying that, because I'm like, yeah, whatever. But it was another situation. Anyway, we're going to watch and see how it all unfolds, aren't we? All right. Next week, I'll have another review. I don't know if it's still continuation of season 5, and they were considered like half seasons, and it's going to be episode 9, or if we're actually starting season 6. I don't know. See, I had written here the whole time this was season 5. At the beginning, I kept saying, like, what season are we in? Season 5, episode 8. Okay, that's it. You take care, and I will see you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye.